Okay, we've got this.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me? Welcome, welcome. My name is Tricia Little, and I'm a member of SSUC Saskatoon, and I warmly welcome those who are gathered here in person and those online. This spring, I walked the Camino Frances, which is a pilgrimage that starts in France and stretches across Spain to the city of Santiago de Compostela. And I walked a total of over 780 kilometers. I journeyed alongside people of all colors, cultures, genders, sexual identities, ages, religions, and none, abilities, and statuses. Our SSUC community is very much like the Camino in that light. Each of you belongs here, and I want to welcome you here to this space and to take you on a taste of my journey. All the photos you'll see here are ones that I took along my journey, including the ones in the songs that we'll sing. So I invite you to come with me on our walk through the Camino together.
How's that? Good morning, everyone. My name is Joanne Van Beek, and I'm the gathering companion for today. And it's a real privilege to do that with you. But I'd like to give a special welcome to Tricia. Coming all the way from our sister community in Saskatoon. I'm totally pumped to hear what she's going to share with us. I cannot imagine walking 740 plus kilometers. I've met a lot of people who walk the Camino, but never somebody who's walked the whole way. So they're fantastic. I'm very excited. As we do every week, we begin by lighting our community candle. I'm not sure if anyone here can remember a time when the only source of light in a household was a candle, or perhaps a lantern, or maybe a fireplace. A family would gather, of course, around a few candles or a fireplace, and what would they do there? Of course, they might stay warm, but they would begin to share stories. They would share stories, they would visit, they would sing together, and they would pray together. When groups of people got together in communities, let's say in churches, they would also light candles for light and warmth. But as a group, they would also share stories and sing and pray together. And so this morning, we're going to light our community candle in a similar fashion, along with those watching online. And we're going to set a time today to share stories together, to visit, to learn from each other, to sing together, even to remember loved ones who have passed, and to pray together. We go straight into honoring our land, which is always such a beautiful part of our time together. For millennia, those who inhabited and nurtured this land of Treaty 6, the homeland also of the Métis, they lived a nomadic life. They moved according to the seasons, to the needs of the people, and the habits of the bison, and of course, food sources. Their feet carried them in community across the fullness of Mother Earth, under the embrace of Father Sky in relation to one another and all living beings. They helped each other, and they even helped white-skinned strangers who did not know how to survive on this land and in this climate. And I'm sure you'll hear stories from Trish about that happening on the Camino too. May we honor these people who modeled responsible care for all of creation, who signed treaties in good faith, and may we advocate for full reconciliation with their ancestors, beginning today.
Outside of my walking, stepped in that another one's shoes, walked the dusty borders between us, paths I'd never chosen to choose. How then shall I live? How shall I live? How then shall I live? How shall I live? How then shall I live this life? How then shall I live? Outside of my listening, felt the living hum of the ground, sought to be at one with the cosmos, singing with its new sound. How then shall I live? How then shall I live? How then shall I live this life? How then shall I live? Saw the world outside of my looking, gazed upon the eyes of the soul, held the hopes and fears of tomorrow, found the pieces making the whole. How then shall I live? How then shall I live? How then shall I live this life? How then shall I live? Took a step outside of my walking, found again a beat that we share, walked with you the length of a lifetime, and made of life a living prayer. How then shall I live? How then shall I live? How shall I live? How then shall I live this life? How then shall I live?
Good morning. I'd invite anyone of all ages to come up and join me on the rug. And I've got a book about this long, long walk that I did. If no one wants to come, that's okay.
Not sure I can get down though.
So, yes, hi there. Does anyone who likes to walk here? Do you like to walk? Do you like to run? Who likes to run? Yes, running is fun, yes. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about this long, long walk. I did not run, although I saw a young boy running it. It was unbelievable. But anyway, so it was a long walk that I took back in the spring, in April and May. And during it, I needed to have a whole bunch of things with me in order to look after myself. And I found all kinds of places to stay overnight. And these are the kind of the things that I had. These shoes have walked over 2,000 kilometers with all my training and everything. And these poles were absolutely necessary because I'm older. But all of these things in my bag I carried, that's all I had for 6 weeks. And a lot of the clothes I'm wearing today are ones that I wore on the Camino. They're all something called quick dry. When you wash them, then they dry really, really quickly. This is an odd thing that I had to hang my clothes on when they were after I'd washed them. Then I put this along my bed, and then I would put the clothes in through these little, between the elastics, and things dried. It was just amazing. But there's all kinds of stuff that I kept in this little bag, my rain gear and everything. And it was something that I was with a number of other people who did this walk. And we all had the same routine every day. You'd get up and you'd start walking, and then you would, at the end of the day, you'd clean yourself up and get on your way. So this is a book of another grandma, because I'm a grandma too, like Joanne. And this grandma walked the Camino, and she didn't see that there was any children's stories about it, to tell people, young people, about this walk. So anyway, Joanne, I think I'm going to ask you if you could to do the picture as well. And yeah, thank you. So this is called On the Camino, a children's discovery book. And it's written by, the grandma is Emily Calloway Geerdes. Here's the first picture. Tell us the story of the long walk with the funny name of the grandchildren said. Do you mean the Camino de Santiago de Compostela? The grandparents chuckled. Yes, isn't that a big name? Yes, said the grandchildren. Oh, it's a very special but very long walk. Its other names are the Way of St. James, or just the Way for short. What happened along the way? The grandchildren asked. Oh, so many wonderful things. On the way, we heard birds. Not just one, but a whole symphony of birds. It turns out the birds are there all along, but we are so rarely stopped to hear them. What a wonderful surprise. Thanks for showing us the way to listen to little birds. Buen camino, said the grandparents. Buen camino, said the birds. Buen camino means good walk, and that in a language called Spanish. On the way, they met a slug. You see the slug here? Big black thing. There was a lot of them. I tried not to squish them when I walked. It was huge. It turns out there are slugs everywhere, but we rarely take the time to notice such strange creatures below our feet. Thanks for showing us how to watch our steps, little slug. Buen camino, said the grandparents. Buen camino, said the slug. On the way, the local villagers took care of us, feeding us wonderful padron peppers. Oh, they were very good. Fresh fish, Galician stew, and an octopus. I tried that too. It wasn't too bad, actually. So that we would have the energy to continue our journey. It turns out there are parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents have been feeding pilgrims, these villagers, for thousands of years. Thank you, villagers, for showing us the gift of taking care of strangers. Buen camino, said the grandparents. And what did the villagers say? Can you say it? Buen camino. Yes. On the way, we saw our very own shadows as the sun came up each morning. The shadows reminded us of the millions of pilgrims who walked before us and made us feel part of something very, very special. Thank you, shadows, for reminding us that with the love around us, we are never alone. Buen camino, said the grandparents. What did the shadows say? Together, everyone? Buen camino. On the way, our feet got very sore. Oh my goodness, our feet hurt from so much walking. So we did what pilgrims have done for thousands of years. We dipped our tired feet in the cold, cold water at Labacoya. Brrr. But then our feet felt better and clean, and we were ready for the last stretch of our walk. Thanks, cold water, for teaching us that we can overcome life's challenges and keep moving forward. Buen camino, said the grandparents. What did the happy feet say? Buen camino. On the way, we bumped into cows, horses, and chickens. Turns out pilgrims share the way with ancient farms and farmers. Thank you, farm friends, for showing us how all of the creatures can live in harmony. Buen camino, said the grandparents. And what did the farm friends say? Buen camino. Great, you guys are speaking Spanish beautifully. On the way, we met other pilgrims from all over the world. Brazil, Ireland, Malta, Ukraine, Germany, and more. We didn't speak their languages, and they didn't speak our language, but that didn't matter. We all joked and laughed in the universal language of kindness. Thanks, new friends, for reminding us that we are all the same, no matter where we come from. Buen camino, said the grandparents. What did the new friends from around the world say? Buen camino. On the way, far, far in the distance, we began to see our destination, the cathedral, where the bones of St. James lay and stood pointing to the heavens. We joined pilgrims from all over the world, walking for all kinds of reasons, and spilled over the hills into the old city of Santiago de Compostela. We celebrated what we learned from this long walk, our love for one another, and how the way will change our lives forever. Thank you to the way itself for teaching us that when we open our hearts to love, it will show us the way. Buen camino. It was a wonderful experience for me, and I think it's something that not everybody will do, but it was something that filled my heart. And I've been telling my grandchildren all about it. And who knows, maybe someday you might do it too. So what I learned on the walk was that for us to take time as we walk to look at things. You guys are really good at that. To stop, listen to the birds, look at the slugs or whatever other insects are around, and smell those flowers. And that is what enriches us. That's what makes us feel happy inside. So I invite you, if you want, there is some coloring in the back if you want to do that activity. And we'll continue on with our service. There's going to be some more songs and more talking about the Camino. And we'll move on to some invitations and to see what is happening in our wonderful community. Thanks, Joanne.
When I volunteered to help this morning, I didn't realize we were going to have 2 grandchildren visiting us from BC. So our invitations today, I don't know if there's anybody who wants to come up, if they need to make announcements at all. Do we have any? So a few that are in the, here comes somebody, that's great. In the e-messenger, just to let you know, if you haven't thoroughly read it, Chris has gone for July, but we have some very, very interesting services coming up this month that you can look forward to. I noticed, I'll just call attention to the Camp Dragonfly online auction that goes from July 7th to the 23rd. So please take a look at that. There's the Rhythm Circle with Logan Gary that's happening here on July 17th. And there's a games night that's being offered here on July 19th. On the 20th of July, there's the Grief Carnival that's being hosted by Emberwood that was talked about yesterday. And then in September, there is a concert with a cause as a fundraiser for our refugee families. So come on up.
I want to say thank you to whoever made that wonderful pineapple angel food cake for the sale, and I'm putting your white plate in the kitchen. You can pick it up there. I don't know who made it, so that's where your plate is.
Thank you. Any other announcements? I do see some special guests sitting way at the back there. Susan and Nancy. Not Susan and Nancy, Dawn and Nancy. Welcome. So, and now we're going to be singing Walk With Me.
Walk with me, I will walk with you. We open to the mystery where love shines through. Stay with me, I will stay with you. We open to the mystery where grace shines through. Be with me, I will be with you. We open to the mystery where trust shines through. Walk with me, I will walk with you. We open to the mystery where love shines through.
Our reading this morning, our wisdom teaching, comes from the Beatitudes of the Pilgrim. And these Beatitudes were handed to Tricia by a delightful nun that she met at the 13th century church of St. Stephen at Salbadica in Spain. You can climb up to the top of the tower there to ring the bell for someone or something special in your heart, which of course Tricia did. Just a few extra steps. Here's the Beatitudes of the Pilgrim. 1. Blessed are you, pilgrim, if you discover that the road opens your eyes to what is not seen. Blessed are you, pilgrim, if what concerns you most is not getting there, but getting there with others. Blessed are you, pilgrim, when you contemplate the road or path and you discover it is full of names and dawns. Blessed are you, pilgrim, if your backpack is emptying of things and your heart does not know where to hang up so many feelings and emotions. Blessed are you, pilgrim, if you discover that one step back to help another is more valuable than 100 forward without seeing what is at your side. Blessed are you, pilgrim, when you don't have words to give thanks for everything that surprises you at every twist and turn of the way. Blessed are you, pilgrim, if you make of the Camino a life, and of your life a way in search of love and community. Blessed are you, pilgrim, if on the way you meet yourself and gift yourself with time without rushing, so as to not neglect your heart. Blessed are you, pilgrim, if you discover that the road has much to do with silence, and silence with prayer, and prayer that encounters the universal love that surrounds you. Blessed are you, pilgrim, because you have discovered that the authentic Camino begins when it is completed. This is a contemporary blessing inspired by an ancient pilgrimage. May we find wisdom for our living.
The Camino is a pilgrimage which has been traveled for 1,000 years. In this slide, you can see a mural of the characters from the 2010 movie The Way. That was the introduction for me for the El Camino, which is the Camino in Spanish. I began my personal Camino April 23rd at Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in France, and that day covered 8 kilometers straight uphill. The next day I climbed 17 kilometers. Oh, it's not turning. There we go. Into the Pyrenees through a snowstorm. That was interesting. Eventually I reached my goal at Santiago de Compostela, May 28th, after walking over 780 kilometers through a mix of rain, strong winds, fog, many, many cloudy days, and some sunshine, up and down rolling and very steep hills. I walked alongside poppies and other wildflowers, past fields of canola, wheat, and pasture land, through vineyards, beautiful vineyards, in 3 different provinces. They were just stunning. Along rivers, through forests, and up mountains. On gravel, dirt, grassy, and rock-strewn paths, on or beside roadways. Through hamlets, towns, and cities, with some interesting pilgrim rest stops in between. And that's what that middle picture is a rest stop with the big shell on it, and it had a lovely little pond there. I went through into chapels, cathedrals, museums, and ancient ruins. I slept in albergues, which are hostels, and pensions, which is a room. You get your own room, but sometimes you share the bathroom. And I also took my turn in a couple of hotels, which was delightful. I met people from all over the world, from all walks of life, various religions and none, as we said in the welcome. Differently abled. There were people that were really struggling, but they wanted to do this, and they did it their own way. They were all ages from 18 months to over 80 years old. It was an adventure I will cherish forever. The Camino pulls you from your routine at home into a new, more basic way of living. You don't need much to get by. You need the shelter, getting accommodation, food, of course, minimal clothing, only 2 sets of clothes I had, comfortable shoes, trekking poles, and a sound sleep, which is difficult sometimes with the snoring people, but you have good earplugs and it works fine. You see here the items that I was telling the children about that I used, and you're welcome to come up afterwards, and the certificates that you get after you complete the Camino. They're lovely, actually. The Canadian Company of Pilgrims is our national association or organization, and there's a Saskatoon chapter, as there probably is here in Edmonton, which welcomes and supports people who have walked the Camino and those who want to walk it. Before I left for Spain, I was given a card from this organization, which included some gentle reminders of what it means to be the mindful pilgrim. I want to share them with you, along with parallels between this walk and what I found in parallels with life in general. There was a lot of time to think on this walk. I pondered it in the silence of my heart and with other pilgrims. We shared a lot, very intimate conversations. The mindful pilgrim. First is the way of kindness. Be kind to your fellow pilgrim. Every day I would offer and receive many smiles and the greeting Buen Camino, just like we did in the book, which means good way or good walk. Take the time to listen and share if you sense a need, both on the Camino and here at home. Here at home, we often forget that we are walking this path of life beside others, perhaps in opposite directions at times. We may or may not notice that someone has stopped, is stumbling, or is hurting near us. We do not often know their story, so we walk on by. However, on the Camino, through short or long conversations with fellow pilgrims, there are stories that come out of depression, loss of a child, parent, or spouse. Perhaps people are walking, spreading the ashes of that loved one along the way. There's a place called Cruz de Ferro, which just means Iron Cross in Spanish. This is a picture of my friend Ellen from the Netherlands, and she brought a rock, a stone that she had taken from the grave of her son who died at 22 weeks. She miscarried. So she brought this stone, and at Cruz de Ferro, it's up on the top of a mountain, and people put their stones from their loved ones or from their home underneath this cross. It was quite meaningful to her, and I took that picture. There are maybe times of transition, other reasons that people walk this Camino. Loss or a change of job, divorce, change of career, deciding whether to get more education or not. Other stories are filled with joy, hope, excitement. A parent and a child are walking the Camino together. Couples walking before they get married. Or newly retired people taking on a challenge that they never had time to do while working. The human condition includes both pain and promise. Both are seen in abundance on this pilgrimage. Secondly, be kind to those who offer hospitality. It could be hospitality, a place of opportunity, of spirit, of conversation. When you arrive at your nightly destination, albergue hosts will warmly welcome you and give you a tour of their albergue, and they show you where your bed is. Usually it's a bunk bed. Once you're registered, pilgrims will set up their personal stuff in their little bunk bed area. Go to a communal area where you wash your clothes, because you only have a couple of sets of clothes. And there's a lot of conversation that happens there. It's how was your day and what have you, and why are you walking the Camino? There's pretty heavy questions that come up. You can go grocery shopping, share food, seek knowledge from pharmacists when in pain. The pharmacists and physiotherapists along the way are very knowledgeable about pilgrims' needs. Connect with folks at home, endure snorers at night, as I said, and then stealthily leave in the morning so others can sleep longer. Be kind to yourself. Forgive your limitations, because you do you hit a wall sometimes with what you feel your limitations are, and they can be physical or emotional, intellectual, spiritual, or temporal. We expect a lot from ourselves, and we think others expect the same, but that's usually not true. This is a picture, it's not one of mine because I was in a lot of pain this day. It was my third day of walking, and it's walking from a place called Roncesvalles to Zubiri. And it's straight downhill, down the Pyrenees. And there's these rocks that are in rows, in slats. And you're not only going down this steep incline, but you're stepping over these rocks. And it was raining that day, and it was very difficult for me. But the night before, I had met a woman from California and two people from Toronto, actually. And they did not want to leave me behind. I kept saying, you guys go, I'm all right, and I'll just take my time on this. But they wouldn't let me go. So they were there. These perfect strangers were there for me that whole day and gave me some pills that I didn't have with me, and it was just beautiful. And that's just the beginning. It was how we shared on the Camino. The way of respect. Respect the land you walk through, whether you're at home or on vacation. On the Camino, there's surprisingly very little litter, considering that there are hundreds of thousands of pilgrims each year that take this walk. Spain is a very clean country, at least along the Camino and in the cities that I was at. Respect the people around you. It's considerate to learn even a few phrases of the language of the country you're in. At least how to say please and thank you and ask where things are. Most of the Spanish people in the albergues, in the stores, on the road, and in communities are very helpful and kind. They're happy to see los peregrinos, and that's what we are, the pilgrims, los peregrinos. I was often asked what country I came from, how far I was walking that day. Greeting the locals with hola, buenos dias was always appreciated. Respect fellow pilgrims and hosts. Basic consideration is a universal must, wherever we are. Most pilgrims practice this in spades. I encountered only the rare person who seemed to feel entitled or complain inappropriately. It was quite refreshing to be with a cohort of people who were trying their very best to get along and to be considerate. The way of openness and curiosity. Be open to the road and keep an open heart. You find arrows and the shell symbols everywhere to guide you along the way. Sometimes, however, they can be obscured, missing, or in odd places. But if that's the case, other pilgrims or the locals will they see you're confused and they just, the local, they were just great at pointing. They can't speak your language, but they're pointing. It was wonderful. On the Camino, as in life, we have to expect and adjust to unforeseen changes or opportunities on the road. Curves can come up, rocky terrain, arduous climbs, and steep descents. We tend to choose the easier part of the path. In this picture on the right, like you can see on the right side of it is not a very nice path to walk, but there's a smoother section. And as I was walking that smoother section, I got thinking that it's evident we often choose the easier path. However, if it's evident that there's no choice, which sometimes there was no choice, I had to walk on those rocky areas, we ascertain that the difficult path is the best way for us to reach our goal, we barrel on. We learn that if we choose to push ourselves beyond our perceived limits with support from others and strength we did not know we had, we are often successful, surprised, and justifiably proud. In all this, we need to keep an open heart for listening, for wisdom and strength that can come from unforeseen places and sources. It's important for us to follow our gut, our inner sense, wherever we may be. Leave space for serendipity and surprise. The Camino will provide. Everybody kept saying that as you were lost something or whatever. The Camino will provide, not to worry. And it was funny. People dropped gloves, they dropped shoes, they ended up coming back to their owners at the next albergue. It was the craziest thing. If you have sore feet and other issues, someone gives you blister aid or lotion of some sort. Or there happens to be a pilgrim who is a physiotherapist in your albergue when you've hurt yourself through the day. Or you lose your way and a pilgrim or a local points you in the right direction. Coincidences happen repeatedly and give us wonderful opportunities. The ebb and flow of the universe provides. It instills awe, offers epiphanies and joys. Here are some surprises that I encountered. I'm walking through this little town, and the picture on the left is a medieval wine press. And it was so interesting to see how they did it back then. It was a community, a bunch of people turned a crank on the right and pressed down a piece of wood on the grapes in the middle, and then the grape juice would drain into that circular area at the bottom. It was just fascinating. And this one on the bottom is, we walked into this town, and a local had crocheted flags from all over the world. Beside this little square or plaza is the church. And there was just every flag you could find in the world there. And apparently there had been a storm a couple weeks earlier, and this woman there were some that were damaged, and she was madly crocheting the ones to replace. It was awesome. It was just so great. Also, I took a break one morning, and in a little town, and this is what happened. I couldn't get over it. Right in the middle of town. This is beautiful. Be present in the moment. My fellow pilgrim, Ellen, again from the Netherlands, would often turn around and look back at where we had just walked to see the beautiful vistas from a different view. It was always a surreal experience because we gained a new perspective and appreciation for the landscape we had just come through. Perhaps we should practice this regularly, both in the physical realm and in other levels, whereby deeper understanding and appreciation for events, people, and experiences can be meaningful for us going forward. Be in the moment wherever we are. We need to take deep breaths, touch a tree, sit down on a rock or a bench, beside a trail or right by the river. Smell the blooming trees, walk local paths, enjoy gardens, both public ones and our own, forests, rivers, and lakes in our area. Here's a recording of a moment I experienced in the city of Burgos. It was by the ruins of a castle. I'll just have you listen to my quiet moment. Sitting in Burgos at the castle ruins, in a little forest area around the base of the ruins. It's so peaceful here. The city sounds are out there, but so is nature. Feeling the wind, sitting on a tree, fallen tree, feeling the earth beneath my feet, the rustle of the leaves and the grass. Each stage of our lives is a pilgrimage of sorts. Childhood through adolescence, long-term relationships, parenthood, retirement, aging. We walk and at times stumble along the way, often with the support of both experienced and inexperienced people, those who love us and even strangers. They may give us a guiding hand, voice a phrase or a comment, or offer an action of some sort that touches us deeply, helps us to discern which way to go at that stage of our journey. We muddle through together in our humanity. One day, as I was walking alone, without another pilgrim in view, I knew that I was not really alone, that if I needed someone, there would be help along the road soon. In that moment, I thought that what we need is an ongoing, worldwide camino of helping one another with kindness, appreciating our differences respectfully, and moving forward together in a spirit of openness and curiosity. We can do it. I know we can. One step at a time.
We were looking at what to play for some reflection music, and I thought about this song by a Swedish folk singer called The Tallest Man on Earth, who's not that tall, and it's called The Wild Hunt. Oh, that's not the right start. Let's start that right. There is a crow moon coming in where you keep looking out. It is the hollow month of March, now sleeping in. Let's watch phenomenons arise out of the darkness now. Within the light, she is my storming heroine. And old machines abandoned by the ancient races stand. I hear them humming down below in hollow earth. I guess I know in a while I will go under too. To wait for now, let the spring and storm return. Left my heart to the wild hunt, I'm coming. Live until the call, and I plan to be forgotten when I'm gone. So I'll be leaving in the fall. And I will sleep out in the glade just by the giant tree, to be closer when my spirit's pulled away. I left a nervous little boy out on the trail today, just a mortal to the shouting cavalcade. Left my heart to the wild hunt, I'm coming. Live until the call, and I plan to be forgotten when I'm gone. Yes, I plan to be forgotten when I'm gone. 'Cause I'll be leaving in the fall. Let's open up the windows, halves and departing now. We'll be even when the blues fall down like hail. Oh, I don't even care no more about Cadeo now. He's a white one or a black one on the trail. I left my heart to the wild hunt, I'm coming. Live until the call, and I plan to be forgotten when I'm gone. Yes, I plan to be forgotten when I'm gone. So I'll be leaving in the fall.
Thank you, Trish. I think Trish has inspired all of us, either to go on the Camino or to be on a Camino every day of our lives. Let's share our intentions together. We are all pilgrims on life's journey. May we offer a smile and our vulnerability to those we meet. May we walk gently on the earth, treating it with respect and appreciating the beauty of our surroundings. May we celebrate differences and willingly compromise in our interactions with other pilgrims along the way. May we recognize that overcoming obstacles and challenges provides growth. May we consider the needs of fellow pilgrims, asking ourselves what we can do for them. And may we accept with gratitude and humility the hospitality that is provided along the way. As pilgrims, finding our way towards inner meaning and fulfillment. May it be so.
Traveling
We are in community, wherever we are in the world. May the transforming light that is within each of us, like the light of this flame, gently nudge us to more intentionally follow the way of kindness, respect, openness, and curiosity in the week to come.